Chapter 6. The Best Medicine. The next day, as Mina was organizing her concert notes at the kitchen table, there was a knock on the door. It was Raven. She looked pale and shaken, her usual defiant posture replaced with a slouched trepidation. "Can we talk?" Raven asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Something happened. Bad." Mina led her to her room, a sense of foreboding settling over her. Raven sat on the edge of the bed, her hands twisting in her lap. "I'm sorry I haven't been around for a while. I have been so preoccupied with my mom. She tried to commit suicide at the rehab center." The words hit Mina like a physical blow. "Oh, Raven," she gasped, covering her mouth with her hand. "I'm so sorry. Is she okay?" "Yeah. She's okay," Raven said, a hollow tone in her voice. "She got her hands on some of the medication and took too much. They were able to save her." She took a deep, shuddering breath. She said had a hard time forgiving herself. "The damage she did to me. And I told her about you and everything you were doing, about how I was finally starting to look forward to life." She realized that despite all her efforts, she couldn't fulfill her promise to herself to be different from her own parents. "As I was leaving, she decided to end it all." Mina felt a cold wave of partial responsibility wash over her, a debilitating shame. Her eyes were wide open and she covered Raven's hands with hers. "Raven, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." Raven looked up, her eyes hard with conviction. "No," she said, her voice a vehement force. "Don't you dare think that. Ever. This had nothing to do with you. These problems existed long before either of us were born. It was her own struggle, her own demons. There's no blame or nowhere left to hide now. She has to work this out herself." The conversation hung heavy in the air. Mina, relieved of the temporary guilt but still heartbroken for her friend, just sat and listened. Raven finally stood up, a new resolve in her eyes. "I don't have any special skills," she said almost to herself. "I'm not a musician or a graphic designer like Anna, or good with numbers. But I want to help. Even if it is just like blowing up balloons or setting up chairs and cleaning up." She then broke into a small wry smile. "You know, if you need people to sample the food, I'll volunteer myself. You know, just to make sure it's edible or delicious and won't kill anyone," she forcefully joked. Mina, despite the seriousness of the conversation, couldn't help but let out a laugh. The image of Raven, so serious and intense, meticulously sampling pan dulce, was a genuinely funny one. A small smile spread across Mina's face. "Laughter is the best medicine," she said softly. The words weren't just a saying. They were a realization. The laugh, however small, had broken the tension, a moment of light in the darkness of the conversation. An idea sparked in Mina's mind. As she thought about the crushing guilt her mom felt, a new, sudden fear gripped her heart. Her own birth mom, who had lived with a debilitating sense of shame and apathy for nearly 15 years, had she also ever considered a similar punishment? She knew at that moment she had to ask. Mina rushed home and explained the situation to her parents and asked if she could get a special exception to use her tablet to send out a few emails, and she was given an hour grace period. She went to her tablet, her fingers trembling as she pulled up her email. First, she sent a concerned message to check in on her mom. Then she began to type a message to Murray, a magician she had met on her trip. He had a reputation for being kind and genuine, and she felt he would understand. She didn't want to get into the details of the suicide attempt. She didn't want to inadvertently make the situation worse. But she wanted to do something to give Karen a small moment of joy and hope in a moment like this. From Mina to Murray the magician. "Hi Murray. I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to you with a special request. I have a friend whose mom, Karen, is going through a very rough time right now. I was wondering if you could make a short, personalized video for her? Nothing too serious. Just a funny video with a little magic trick or a joke to make her smile with encouragement. I really think it would mean the world to her. I know this is a big ask, but your kindness and humor are exactly what she needs right now. Thank you so much, Mina. P.S. I am finally releasing the videos I have been dreading to show the world.